Hey everybody, it's fvck. Today I'm going to explain to you how to use Garen's ult efficiently. There is no real easy way to understand this. This is just math. And I'm going to make it as simple as I can. We'll start with Garen's level 1 ultimate, which does 28.57% of the target's missing HP in magic damage. And an additional 175 damage. What this means is if you want to kill that person with just the missing health percentage, you would have to ult them when their health is 78% missing, meaning they actually have 22% of their max HP currently filled. At level 2, it does 33.33% of missing health as damage, and an additional 350 magic damage. In order for this statistic to do enough damage to actually kill the person, just at that threshold would be 75.9% of their health has to be missing. You could also say 76% to make it easy on yourself, but we're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say 75.9 for all the math I'm going to show up in a second. That would mean that the person would have to have 25.29% of their health remaining, and this stat works for no matter how much health they have. Stacking Warmogs, which is probably better really, but I'll get to that in a little bit. It just has to do with resistances. And then finally at level 3, 40% of their missing HP would be dealt in damage, combined with flat 525 damage. In order for 40% of their missing health to actually kill the target off, you would have to have their health reduced to 71.5% missing with 28.5% still intact. Now, before I start giving some examples, I want to let you in on a little something. Garen does physical damage. His ultimate is the only thing that does magic damage, and for the most part, you're not going to be dealing with people who are building magic resistance, which is one of the reasons Garen is so goddamn scary. And keeping that in mind, everybody has a base MR of 30. Some champions have scaling, some do not. Some might build it or have it in their runes just because they're trying to be proficient or they're in a different lane, and so, you know, it won't always kill the person. This isn't true damage, but as a baseline, you kind of get an idea. At level 1, 78%, that's almost 80% missing health. 80% is a lot different. That means they have 22% or 20% current health. That statistic's a lot different than what I bet a lot of people are actually ulting on. I would assume maybe a third is a good rule of thumb that people have probably come up with in their heads. And this is a fifth. There's a great difference to when the ult's going to kill someone and when it's not going to. So just to clarify and to put up on the screen, the flat damage of a level 1 ultimate will do 175 damage. Assuming someone has the base MR, put that through the multiplier. 100 divided by 130 equals 0.77, meaning we're going to take 175 and all the flats by 0.77. If you have level 1 ult, it will actually do 134 damage to someone with 30 MR. A level 2 ult will actually do 269 instead of 350. If you have a level 3 ult, you're going to do 404 instead of 520. Now, these kind of matter, but not to the extent that I would recommend you build Magic Pen. That would be rather dumb, if you ask me. Let's look at some examples. We'll start off small. Say your target has 1,000 HP. To ult when they have 78% of their health missing is to ult when 780 of their HP is actually gone. You would then multiply 780, which is what is missing, by the multiplier, 28.57% of their missing health, and that would give you 222, which would actually be the amount of damage you're doing, contrary to their health, which it supersedes. Now, because they have 30 MR, we're going to take into account the 0.77 modifier, which means your ultimate would actually do 171.59 damage. Now, this isn't a big deal, because 220 health and 171 damage will still kill the target because of the flat 134 you would do. And this is all after 30 MR reductions. This means you would actually kill the target. You're doing 300 damage, they have something like 220 HP left when you're ulting at the right time. Let's look at another example. If the target has 2000 HP, you're going to multiply 2000 by 0.715. This is going to give you amount of health missing. Multiply that by 0.4 for the 40% missing component. It's going to do 572 damage, which is just a bit above how much health they have remaining. Now when you ult, you're only going to do a modified version of damage times 0.77, going to give you 440 actual damage. Now that won't kill the target, but the flat damage, which is 404, will very much supersede the original 572 damage and bring you right into a kill. Another example, say the target has 2000 health, but you only have your level 2 ultimate. In this case, I'm going to be using the 0.759, not 0.76, but to make it, realistic, the 2000 HP times 0.759 would give you 1518, which is how much health they're actually missing. Multiply that by the 0.333 multiplier of a level 2 ultimate, and you would do 505.95 damage. This, with the MR reduction, is 389.58 damage, and added onto that is the 269.5 damage from the flat damage. In all of these instances, you're going to be killing the person with the bonus damage from the flat. The only conceivable way I could see this not killing someone is if they have a lot of magic resistance. I'll give you one more example just to show you that it's rather difficult to not kill somebody if you follow the percentages correctly. Say the target has 3000 HP. If they have 3000 HP, they would have to have 71.5% of their HP missing. Do that math, you get 2145. That's 2145 HP missing. Multiply that by 0.4 because we're taking 40% of that missing health and adding that to the actual damage you're doing, and it would be 858. 858 damage is enough to kill someone with 3000 HP that is missing 71.5% of their health. Now, the modified damage would actually be 660, but with the flat 404 after reductions, it would kill the target. Hey guys, sorry if this sounds a little scratchy, I'm doing post-recording tweaks. The reason I chose to do the math to figure out how the percentage of missing health would kill the target is because if I incorporated the flat damage into that equation, it would constantly change. Look at it like this. If someone has 500 HP, your ultimate's going to kill them. Level 3, mind you, level 3 ultimate will just kill them. Now, if they have 6,000 HP, that percentage equation isn't going to do the same amount of damage, and that 500 flat damage will not kill the target. This is because as their HP changes, the equation would then have to change to incorporate enough percentage health damage so that the 500 would do enough. With this method that I have here, this equation I have now, it will almost always work from 0 to 30 MR, and I'm not exactly sure how high it goes, but this will work from 0 to 30 MR. Any other equation that would incorporate the flat would have to constantly change and be a bit longer and probably more confusing for even I to understand. So that is why I figured out the percentage of missing HP damage to always kill the target if they were at 0 MR, and just conveniently 30 MR also works so that the flat damage will end up picking up the target. I hope that makes sense. Basically, if I did it any other way, I would have to change the equation multiple times. Thank you for understanding. I do apologize for the scratchiness, but I cannot change that. Continue. I'm going to give you some general guidelines when ulting. If it's a level 1 Garen ultimate, try and ult when the target is at about a fifth of their health, or 20% of their maximum health. That's fifth is 20%, shouldn't be too hard to eyeball. Level 2, try ulting somewhere around 25% of their current health remaining. It's not a hard figure, a fourth. Say if they have a fourth of their health left, you should probably be able to ult them. And lastly, if you have your level 3 ultimate, generally alt somewhere around 30. Maybe a little less than 30%, but that should get you the kill, assuming they are not extremely tanky or have very, very high MR. Hey guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions about League or this video, please by all means ask. What do you think, I'm going to play Rammus for you? What are you, Vayne ADC? Please.